Welcome back my YouTube channel. I am telling about for this coin the 1987 Swedish 1 krona, 1 KR coin, covering its origins, design, symbolism, economic context, minting process, and its role in Swedish monetary history up to the present day the 1987 Swedish 1 krona coin. A comprehensive historical analysis, the Swedish 1 krona, 1 KR coin of 1987 represents a subtle yet important artifact in the long evolution of Sweden's monetary system. While at first glance it appears as a small, everyday object of limited individual value, it encapsulates centuries of economic policy, national identity, royal symbolism, and industrial development. Coins, in many ways, serve as miniature documents of a nation's priorities and transitions, and the 1987 1 KR coin is no exception. Emerging during a period of economic stability but preceding significant financial and political shifts, this coin embodies the confluence of tradition and modernity in late 20th century Sweden. To fully appreciate the coin's place in Swedish history, it is necessary to examine not just its physical characteristics and iconography, but also the broader historical, economic, and technological contexts that gave rise to it. Origins of the Swedish krona 1. The krona and its 19th century foundation, the krona, crown, became the official currency of Sweden in 1873, replacing the riksdollar under the Scandinavian Monetary Union, SMU. A pioneering experiment in shared currency standards between Sweden, Denmark, and later Norway. Under this system, all three countries used the krona/kroner as a unit of currency based on the gold standard, where 1 krona equaled 1/2480 of a kilogram of fine gold. Although the SMU collapsed during World War I, Sweden retained the krona as its national currency. Over time, the krona became a key marker of Swedish sovereignty, stability, and economic pragmatism. Point 2. The krona in the 20th century. Throughout the 20th century, the krona underwent numerous transformations reflecting both global and domestic developments. During the interwar period, Sweden abandoned the gold standard and adopted a more flexible monetary policy. In the post-World War II years, Sweden's economy grew rapidly, powered by industrial exports and social democratic reforms that built the foundations of the Swedish welfare state. By the 1970s and 1980s, the Swedish krona had become one of the world's more stable currencies, symbolizing both economic reliability and national pride. The 1 KR coin, as the smallest commonly used denomination, was deeply integrated into everyday Swedish life, from vending machines to public transportation. Point 2. The design and production of the 1987 1 krona coin. Physical specifications. The 1987 1 KR coin was part of the long-running series first introduced in 1976, during the reign of King Carl XVI Gustaf, who ascended to the throne in 1973 following the death of his grandfather, King Gustaf VI Adolf. Specifications of the 1987 1 KR coin denomination. 1 krona year of issue. 1987 composition. Copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Weight, 7 grams diameter, 25 mm thickness, 1.7 millimeters edge. Milled, reeded, mint. Myntverket, Eskilstuna. The Swedish Royal Mint. This composition and design balance both durability and aesthetic appeal, while also being cost-effective for mass production too. Obverse design. The royal portrait. The obverse, front, of the 1987 1 KR coin features a right-facing portrait of King Carl XVI Gustaf, Sweden's reigning monarch since 1973. Around the portrait runs the inscription Carl XVI Gustaf SVERIGES KONUNG, Carl XVI Gustaf, King of Sweden. This portrait, created by Swedish artist Erik Dahlberg, reflects the continuation of a long numismatic tradition of depicting the reigning monarch on Swedish coins, a custom dating back to the early Vasa kings of the 16th century. The portrayal of Carl XVI Gustaf in profile was intended to project a modern yet dignified image of monarchy. During the 1980s, Sweden's constitutional monarchy had largely symbolic power, but the king remained an important figurehead of national unity. His depiction on coins underscored the monarchy's enduring cultural significance, even in a secular and egalitarian society. 3. Reverse design. The crown and denomination. The reverse side features a large crown monogram of King Carl XVI Gustaf's initials, C16G, surmounted by the royal crown, symbolizing sovereignty. Beneath the monogram lies the denomination 1KR. The year of minting, 1987, appears along the rim, often flanked by the initials of the mint master and engraver. The use of regal symbolism on the coin's reverse reinforced the historical continuity of Swedish coinage, where crowns, monograms, and heraldic imagery have long served as emblems of legitimacy and authority. Point 4. Minting and distribution. The 1987 1KR coin was struck at the Swedish Royal Mint, Kungliga Myntverket, one of the world's oldest mints, tracing its origins back to the early 10th century. By the 1980s, the mint operated in Eskilstuna, where it employed advanced machinery for precision minting and quality control. The coins were released into circulation through the Riksbank, Sweden's central bank, which managed the overall money supply and ensured that worn or damaged coins were regularly withdrawn and melted down for recycling. 3. Economic context of Sweden in 19871. Macroeconomic overview. The late 1980s were a period of relative prosperity in Sweden. The country maintained a strong industrial base, a well-developed welfare system, and high levels of employment. Inflation had been a persistent issue in the 1970s, but by the mid-1980s, Sweden's central bank had succeeded in stabilizing prices. The 1KR coin, while modest in value, played an essential role in everyday transactions. In 1987, 1 krona could purchase a postage stamp, a newspaper, or a small confectionery item. Its purchasing power was still significant in daily life, unlike in the early 21st century, when small coins began to lose practical utility. Point 2. Currency reforms and exchange rate policy. Throughout the 1980s, Sweden maintained a fixed exchange rate regime, pegging the krona to a basket of trade-weighted currencies. This policy aimed to preserve stability and prevent excessive inflation, although it would later lead to tensions culminating in the Swedish financial crisis of the early 1990s. The 1987 coin, therefore, represents the final phase of a relatively calm monetary period before Sweden's shift toward a more open. The 1987 coin therefore represents the final phase of a relatively calm monetary period before Sweden's shift toward a more open, market-oriented economy and floating exchange rate in the 1990s. Coin circulation and usage. During the 1980s, Sweden's coin denominations included the 5 or 10 or 25 or 50 or 1 krona, 2 kronor, and 5 kronor. The 1KR coin was among the most frequently used, functioning as the cornerstone of small cash transactions. ATMs, vending machines, and public telephones were designed to accept the 1KR coin, embedding it in daily Swedish routines. Point 4. Symbolism and cultural meaning. 1. The monarchy and modern identity. The continued inclusion of the monarch's portrait on Swedish coins in 1987 reflected the enduring respect for tradition amid modernization. Although Sweden's political system is firmly democratic, the monarchy serves as a living link to the nation's past. Carl XVI Gustaf's portrait also symbolized generational renewal. He represented a younger, environmentally conscious monarch in contrast to the older kings of the early 20th century. The coin thus conveyed a subtle message of modernization within continuity. Point 2. National aesthetics and design philosophy. Swedish coin design often reflects the country's minimalist aesthetic values: clarity, functionality, and elegance without excess ornamentation. The 1987 1KR coin embodies these principles. Its clean lines, balanced inscriptions, and lack of clutter exemplify Swedish modern design at a small scale. This aesthetic continuity can be seen as an extension of the Scandinavian design movement, which emphasizes simplicity and harmony between form and function. A philosophy also evident in Swedish architecture, furniture, and industrial design of the period. V. The 1987 coin in the broader continuum of Swedish coinage. 1. Predecessors. The Gustaf VI Adolf series. Before the introduction of the Carl XVI Gustaf series, Swedish coins bore the image of King Gustaf VI Adolf, reigned 1950 to 1973. His coins, made primarily of silver and later copper-nickel, had a more traditional appearance and were gradually withdrawn in the late 1970s. The 1976 to 2000 Carl XVI Gustaf series represented a transition to modern metallic compositions and machine-readable features too. Successors, redesign and demonetization. The 1987 1 KR coin remained in circulation for nearly 3 decades. However, by the 2010s, Sweden undertook a major currency modernization program, introducing smaller, lighter coins with updated designs to reflect contemporary values and improve cost efficiency. The older 1 KR coins, including those minted in 1987, were demonetized on June 30, 2017, meaning they ceased to be legal tender. Citizens were given an opportunity to exchange old coins for new issues at banks for a limited time. The replacement coins featured a new portrait of King Carl XVI Gustaf and a revised crown design, symbolizing the renewal of Swedish coinage for the 21st century VI. Technological and numismatic significance. 1. Advances in coin production. The 1987 coin represents a period when Sweden's minting process reached high industrial precision. The Royal Mint utilized computer-assisted engraving and die cutting, ensuring uniformity and anti-counterfeiting security. The copper-nickel alloy also ensured resistance to corrosion and wear, allowing coins to circulate for decades without significant degradation. One reason many 1,987 examples remain in excellent condition today. 2. Collector value and numismatic interest. Although the 1987 1 KR coin is not rare, it holds modest numismatic interest as part of the broader Carl XVI Gustaf series. Uncirculated or proof specimens may command small premiums among collectors. Factors influencing its collectible value include condition, uncirculated versus circulated, mint errors, misstrikes, off-centering, historical context, representing late 20th century Sweden. As of today, typical circulated 1987 1 KR coins are worth their face value or slightly more to collectors, while pristine examples might fetch a few dollars in international coin markets. 7. The coin as a symbol of transition. The 1987 1 KR coin occupies a liminal space between Sweden's analog past and digital future. It circulated during a time when cash transactions dominated. Yet within decades, Sweden would become one of the most cashless societies in the world. By the 2010s, the rapid adoption of electronic payments, mobile apps, such as Swedish, and card-based systems rendered coins increasingly obsolete. The 1987 coin thus stands as a tangible reminder of everyday economic interactions that have largely disappeared. Vil. Broader historical events of 1987 Sweden. To fully situate the 1987 1 KR coin in context, it is useful to glance at Sweden's national and global circumstances that year. Economy. Moderate growth and low unemployment marked a stable phase before the economic downturn of the early 1990s. The copper-nickel alloy also ensured resistance to corrosion and wear, allowing coins to circulate for decades without significant degradation. One reason many 1,987 examples remain in excellent condition today. 2. Collector value and numismatic interest. Although the 1987 1 KR coin is not rare, it holds modest numismatic interest as part of the broader Carl XVI Gustaf series. Uncirculated or proof specimens may command small premiums among collectors. Currency reforms and exchange rate policy. Throughout the 1980s, Sweden maintained a fixed exchange rate regime, pegging the krona to a basket of trade-weighted currencies. This policy aimed to preserve stability and prevent excessive inflation, although it would later lead to tensions culminating in the Swedish financial crisis of the early 1990s. The 1987 coin therefore represents the final phase of a relatively calm monetary period before Sweden's shift toward a more open, market-oriented economy and floating exchange rate in the 1990s. Coin circulation and usage. During the 1980s, Sweden's coin denominations included the 5 or 10 or 25 or 50 or 1 krona, 2 kronor, and 5 kronor. The 1 KR coin was among the most frequently used, functioning as the cornerstone of small cash transactions. ATMs, vending machines, and public telephones were designed to accept the 1 KR coin, embedding it in daily Swedish routines.